All right, so we're recording. We're live today on Blab, doing the Work in Progress show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. For those who've never watched this before, we do a half hour on product management, product ownership, product design, thinking about marketing, thinking about product work, thinking about working on teams, launching stuff, shipping stuff, that whole thing. It's all around the stuff that we're working on right now. So it's all struggles we have now. And talking about the things we're dealing with. And sometimes we do Q&A, which is usually when we switch over to Blab. So we'll be taking some questions this show. If anyone wants to talk about anything we've talked about before or has something that comes up along the way, just say hi. I was talking to Nathan before we went live here about something that's really just frustrating me right now, which is I'm trying to make a screencast of the new Basecamp 3. And the moment I hit record or on air, I can't, I'm not natural. What's weird is I'm totally fine right now. I feel like I'm completely comfortable right now because I'm ad-libbing and I'm just going. Yeah. But with the screencast, I've got this thing, I've got to do it in 90 seconds. I've got this sort of script. I've got these things I need to walk through. I'm afraid of making a mistake. It's so weird how it's so mental. It's just so completely mental. And I'm like, this is like a big deal, and I feel like I should just forget all those things and just talk.
Well, why aren't you? Yeah, like why? Yeah. What stops you from just trying the first take version? Because you've been a big fan. Like you're convincing me even to do more first takes on blog posts. Just get the thing out there. I mean, you do this stuff so well already. What's stopping you from doing that?
It's a great question, and I'm wondering that myself. I mean, so part of it is, the way this is going to work is you're going to sign up for Basecamp 3, and the first thing you're going to see is this tour video. And so I feel like, and I'm just talking out loud here, I feel like there's just a lot of pressure to make sure that's really good and clear. And so I've got this vision where I'm going to introduce myself really quickly, say we're going to take a tour, it's going to take a couple minutes, and then get into it. And then I want to go through like the 6 primary tools of a Basecamp project and talk about each one for 15, 20 seconds. And like, that's it. And if I was to do that right now from scratch, like just right now, I'd be totally fine. I wouldn't stumble over anything. I wouldn't screw it up. But the moment I'm like, okay, I've got to talk about this, then I got to talk about this, then I got to talk about this, then I got to go to this one. Then I've been practicing it for an hour and just screwing it up every time. And I've been recording it and trying to go live. And it's hard. It's so weird. I might just not be good at that. I might be totally fine with spontaneous going, but I'm not good with like, okay, now I've got 90 seconds. Let me look into the camera now and say, hello, my name is Jason. I'm going to give you a quick tour. Like, it's just so weird. It's so not natural.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, what about doing like what about hosting just a webinar where people can ask you some questions? So you can, at least feel like it's a little impromptu and you can kind of jam on it, but and record the WebEx or record the, whatever these tools are, and then put that one out there.
Yeah. We can do that. Here's the thing is that I want this to be 90 seconds because I want it to be a really quick introduction to so this is the first thing people see when they sign up. I just want to say, hey, give me 90 seconds, give me a minute, 2 minutes, whatever it is of your time. I want to walk you through the product so you just understand the fundamentals. That's all this is. And if I got into a conversation with people, it'd end up being 15 minutes. And that's not what I want this one to particularly be. Like, this has to be like tight, quick, clear, and then we're done, then move on. So
have you talked to Sean? Sean is the guy who does video and really great stuff at Basecamp. Have you talked to Sean about like just doing your version, and then can he do a little bit of editing magic? Like if you said because people do those like really quick cuts now to kind of get rid of some of the and they actually look really cool. I mean, maybe you could just do a first take.
This is totally the plan, and we've been talking about it, and he set everything up. And I think part of it, to be honest, is this whole setup process. It's like there's a mic here, and I got to have the screen elevated. And if I touch the thing because I'm navigating, then like it moves, and that looks weird. And then you get in this whole thing. Like the interesting question is like, how perfect does it need to be, and does it even matter? Like what I really wanted this to feel like is just like if I was to throw up Skype and say like, hey man, let me show you how Basecamp works. That's how informal it should be. And the screen might shake a little bit, and I might whatever, and I might say and I might forget. But I'm struggling internally with, is that acceptable? And it's such a great way to think. I mean, it's a deep question about product development in general, because there are bugs when you make a product, and there are things that aren't quite right, and you just say, well, that's okay, like we'll get back to them later. I feel like this is this recorded thing that is going to live, and it's bugging me. It's bugging me, I'm unable to actually deliver this really simple thing that I can say 1,000 times in a row, great, but the moment like I have to lay it down on tape, basically, I just kind of mess it up. And then there's this unnatural moment where I want to pause between things so we can do some clean cuts, and the pauses screw it up. And anyway.
So just to empathize a little bit with you, I don't know if I have any really great advice to get through it, but it's like, I feel like I'm going, Lynette and I were just talking about this over lunch. Like you and I have talked about this on the show before, just this week. Like I'm not sleeping really well. Like I can't sleep. Like I try and like, I don't know, like I'm just up and I try to go to bed, I try to read a book, and I try and, and I'm just awake. My brain is just on fire. And like we were talking about it today, like, I mean, I think a big reason what's happening right now is like, I got a really great team, and we're finally like gelling on some really cool shit in Highrise. Like we've got this group inbox feature that's coming. We've got bulk emails coming. These are like really impactful, powerful features finally. And I feel like we've been, there's been a lot of stuff kind of getting the team up to speed since I've taken over Highrise. And I feel like we've done a lot of little things that like this hopefully will just kind of like, it won't bother you. It'll sit, it's just an extra little power you have. But some of the stuff that we're putting out there is just like, wow, this could really change how people, use Highrise and want to do some really different things with it. And I think it's just like, it's exciting, and I'm nervous, and like I'm a little bit more nervous now to put some of these new things out there. And so like you and I, we've been talking this week about some of the details of this, and you're just like, just put it out there. But it's seriously, it's like, man, I don't know, like, should we name it bulk email? Because like this is a fucking big deal right now. Like maybe bulk email, I don't know. So I too am a little bit like tweaked on some of these details that I can't decide, is this a really big detail or not? Even the navigation of like, where do we put this new group inbox? Do we put it in the left nav? Do we put it as another? I'm sweating the details, and it's, probably not going to matter.
It's weird, isn't it? I don't know. It's just, it's bugging me. It's just bugging me, flat out bugging me. And then like we're under pressure because we got a deadline coming up, and this has to be there. And then you kind of sort of, I think it makes it all worse. And I know like Sean's got to edit this and put this together a little bit. So like I feel like I need to get it to him because he's got a lot of stuff on his plate too. And it's just one of those things where it all sorts something out. So I don't know. I feel like I may just have to like. I also feel like. I kind of feel like I want to do it on a Saturday when no one's around or something. There's something weird just about, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's something weird. So anyway, it's tricky. And anyway, I'm going through it right now, and I'm pissed because it's bugging me. There's no reason why this should be hard. I've been giving tours of Basecamp 3 nonstop, and I can give them quick. I can give them in 90 seconds actually if I wanted to. The thing is that. It's just weird how much of a different mindset it is when you think that you're being recorded and that this is going to be laid down permanently instead of just being a conversation with someone. And then you can go, well, just imagine it's a conversation, but like it's still just kind of hard to do that. So anyway, it's good for me to go through this because I want to get better at these because I want to be able to I want to have personal videos. Like one thing is I don't like how there's a trend in product demo videos these days where everything is so slick. And everything is so, it's like, it's of motion graphics, and there's, the scenes are complete bullshit. Like someone's in a coffee shop drinking a really precious coffee and everything's laid out perfectly on the desk. It's bullshit. It's just complete bullshit. And I don't want to contribute to that. So I want to have these raw, just me or someone. I actually like to have a lot of people on the team just do these quick raw videos and not worry about it and just be like, this is us. We're humans. We make this thing. This is us. Let me show you what it looks like. And I should just do it that way, but I'm just having a hard time doing it that way.
Well, what about so some other hacks at this is like, why don't you just have everyone at Basecamp try their version of this and you just take the best one? But everybody give it a try and just keep changing it.
I mean, it's a great way to think about it. You know, it's funny. Someone in the comments, the crafty cutie, is saying like live streaming is great. It's authentic, and I think that's what's so great about it too. It's like you pop open this, or you pop open any app, or anything you can live stream from right now, and you just talk, and no one expects it to be anything other than that, and it's completely perfectly fine. But for some reason, I have this feeling that like if I'm going to lay this down, this is going to be the thing. It's stupid. I should just do the damn thing and not worry about it. But anyway, I'm worried.
Have you put someone else in the room with you? Like, what if you just sat somebody next to you?
It's even more fake. It's even more fake.
Just bring a stranger in the room. Do one of your demos. Like one of these beta customers, go to them and record it with them. Like they haven't seen it before.
Yeah.
So you have to deliver.
I understand. Just let me give you a little bit of background on why that's complicated, because I want to do this as I want to talk like I'm doing talking into the camera right now. And if I can't do that if I'm supposed to be talking to somebody else. So it's kind of weird. I kind of have to do it first person in order to pull it off like I'm doing it right now. I'm just looking into the green light on my laptop and talking to you. Like that's kind of how it has to come off, because I want to be talking to the customer who's watching it. And if I'm talking to someone else who's off the camera, it doesn't quite work. So anyway, I'll get it right. It's only 90 seconds. It's just irritating, just frustrating. So I'm just sharing that because that's what I'm going through right now.
Totally.
But anyway, that's all I had to riff on for a moment. Anyway, what's going on with you? I know you said you're working on some inbox design work and.
Yeah. It's just one of these things. We're getting close to some bigger projects that I've been just kind of excited about for a while that we haven't really had the resources to kind of tackle yet. So, we're basically, one of the big things that we want to do is turn Highrise into a help desk. Like it's always been a little close to that, and we have customers using it as a help desk to, like support their customers and their clients. And I want to finish it off. Like there's just been like a big piece that's missing, which is like the unanswered mail, like the unanswered stuff that comes in, that you forward in. And I just want to get that done. It's done. It's kind of ready to go. It's just buggy at the moment.
Yeah.
So now it's just a matter of some polish on getting it to work correctly and getting it out the door. But yeah, I mean, there's even like right now, like, I could show you, I could show you a screenshot. We've even shown screenshots before, but it's like right now the inbox is in the left nav, and I feel like it's a feature not everyone is going to want. And it's a feature that's basically going to create a new to-do list. Like every email that comes in from a client is going to create basically a to-do item. And it's like, some people are not going to want this. They're not going to want yet another to-do list, but a lot of people are. So it's just another thing that we're kind of like, is this a tool that you need to turn off? Or is it a tool that shouldn't be in the left nav? It should actually be a switchable thing. It's one of those things again. And I think we've landed on what we want to do with it. It'll be a link that is not turn offable. Like it'll be something everybody can get to, but it'll be something that's like at least a choice. I feel like if it's in the left nav, it's like a little too prominent. If you don't want it, that's the decision we're making on it at the moment. We're not going to have another setting to turn it off. But
I saw some people making some suggestions for more names for the email. I saw someone say batch email, and batch is interesting because it's like less of it's a more attractive word than bulk. And bulk just has like ulk is just a bad sound. And batch just sounds like it just sounds stronger to me as a word, more attractive word. But I don't know if that's better or worse either.
Yeah. The inbox was another one that's annoying. And again, it's just another name. But we've talked about names a lot on this show, like with projects and base camps and campsites. But inbox is a very overused name. It's kind of like dashboard these days. Like everybody's putting in inboxes into their products.
Right. Well, we had an inbox menu in Basecamp for a while, in the new Basecamp, and I just hated the word. It's everywhere. So we changed it to Hey. It's HEY exclamation mark. And really that's what an inbox is about. It's like, hey, I'm sending you something. Hey. And so we just did that, and it's just more fun. It's more unique. It's totally does the same job, but it has a personality to it. And it's one of those things where like you'll get it when you check it out, you'll get it, you'll understand it, and it's fine. And you're better off doing it that way than calling it inbox. The other reason why is because there's other places in Basecamp where you get notifications. And if you have something called inbox, you imagine all notifications go in there, but some certain notifications don't go in there for a variety of reasons. And so we just said, hey, that works. So,
Yeah. And I think, yeah. And I agree. It totally works for Basecamp. And like, you're right. I feel like calling this inbox could lead to some confusion down the road too, because we also plan on a better like notification center. And this is not it. So it's going to be like an inbox. Is that my notification center? So I don't know. Maybe we should get a little bit more explicit with this. Like it should be like unanswered emails. I don't know. I don't know what else we'd call it. I was thinking about calling it something weird, like not weird, but like lobby or top floor, something high-risey. But again, those weren't very descriptive enough. So
yeah, I like lobby for that reason. I know they're not descriptive and everything, but I kind of think that like sometimes I go back and forth all over the place around this idea. So like my mind changes constantly about this, but does everything need to be like, people will figure things out. And certain things, like, I think it's okay to have some poetic license around what you call them, it also, it creates a unique atmosphere in the product. It's something you feel like other apps don't have, or other products don't have, even if it's the same thing. I think this is important. I think great companies tend to name a lot of little things in ways that you can talk about them. And if people aren't going to talk about High-Rise's new inbox, but they might talk about High-Rise's new lobby. I don't know, maybe they won't. But the point is like, it's something to talk about because it is distinctive and unique. And I think that's something that's interesting about it. I don't know if that's the right word or not, but I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. But again, it's one of those things, man. Like, it's like, we could release it as is and come up with the name later too, like as people use this. So it's a tough one. It's like, is it worth like distracting the team and arguing about the name right now when we could just like get it out the door and refine some of the like actual bugs and stuff in how it's used? It's a tough one.
Yep. I'm just answering a few questions. Sorry here. It is. It's challenging. So, I don't know. We're rolling with hey. I don't care if it's called. I mean, I don't care that it's not called inbox. It does not matter. This will. The other thing to keep in mind is this will not make or break the product. Calling it hey will not hurt the product, and I think it'll help it. I think it's more interesting. I think people might talk about it. I think it's a little bit. It brings a little bit of a smile to your face when you see it in a different way, in a way that inbox never would in 1,000 years, because you've seen that word everywhere. And who cares? Like, it's fine. It'll be totally fine. And I think that. High-Rise has only a handful of things on the left-hand side anyway. It's not like you have 60 things and you have to decide, like, you've got like 7 things. So if you add something that's a little bit unusual, like, that's good. True. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. People will figure it out. They'll know that, like, that's not where the deals are, because there's something called deals. And they'll know it's not where the tasks are, because there's something called tasks. And then there's going to be this other place, like, oh, what is that? Oh, let me check that out. And they'll get it. So I don't know. That's my take.
All right, you might have me convinced. All right.
Who knows, right? I mean, who knows? I'm just throwing stuff at you, but
totally.
Should we? I'm going to open the seat, see if anyone wants to jump in and ask any questions. There's one here. I will take Travis here.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Travis. How are you?
Hey, Travis.
So, I've heard of 37 Signals, by the way. I'm not very familiar with all the stuff you do. But like I said, I'm a web developer myself. But have you been much of a fan of like Joel Spolensky, some of his work or any of his writing? Because you seem to go down similar paths. Yeah,
I like Joel. Joel is an incredibly smart guy. I've read a bunch of his stuff over the years. I haven't read a lot of his stuff recently. I don't know if he's writing as prolifically as he used to. I'm not actually sure, but
he stopped blogging there, right, for a while. Is he still done with blogging?
He was doing some more articles. Yeah, he kind of stopped doing the blogging, and he started moving more towards printed articles, like paid writing instead of writing for free.
Okay, that would explain why I haven't seen his stuff in a while. But he's an incredibly smart, insightful guy. I think he has a lot of great things to say. And for those people who don't know who he is, you can go find his old stuff and read up on it. It's still current, even though it's old. You know, it's still, there's fundamentally good ideas in there.
Oh yeah, he's written.
He's a really great commenter on Hacker News, which I know is kind of like I'm going to be mean, or maybe a rarity. There's a lot of bad comments. I mean, come on, like Hacker News has gotten nuts these days, but Hacker News, when Joel speaks up, it's like, whoa, there's some thoughtful, insightful stuff here. There's other people on Hacker News too that are very insightful. But Joel actually there was a recent article written about fog bugs. Yep. That's Joel's the bug tracking issue tracker tool. And they were talking about how the article was all about how fog bugs lost the war to Atlassian. Atlassian makes developer tools similar to like, you know, bug tracking and wikis and stuff like that too. And they went through and they were like, oh yeah, fog bugs didn't do this and didn't do this, and Atlassian did this and did this and this. And it was like, okay, it was very anti fog bugs. And well, Joel came in and had some really, you know, useful things to kind of bring up and point out that like this wasn't like a fog bugs hasn't lost and they're still around. They're playing very different games. Like if you look at the customers that Atlassian is servicing, it's very enterprisey and Fogbugs has been serving like very small like shops paying like $20 a month. And it was a very insightful comment to like realize like, guys, we're not all playing the same game. Like it's not like just one pie that only one person can have. Like it's you know, you can have enterprise customers doing, you know, bug tracking and small shops doing bug tracking. It was really good. If anybody wants to find that on Hacker News, I'd recommend it.
I think that in general is a really important point, which is the peanut gallery.
You got some really bad feedback.
Oh, interesting.
You might have to refresh.
Okay.
Blab does that sometimes. Oh, wait. Talk some more.
We're good.
Test. We good?
Strange. It's
okay.
fine now.
I was going to say that everyone likes to call winners and losers, but these markets and these spaces and these places are so damn big. And, you know, some people think that the only audience that exists is the one they're aware of. So this happens on Hacker News a lot. There's a lot of people who are programmers and technical people on Hacker News, and they think that the only people that exist in the world are other programmers. And if their programmer friends are now using Jira or Atlassian's bug tracker or whatever it is, then that means no one's using Fogbugs. And it's just not true. I mean, I don't know the answer, but like just because you and your friends and everyone's talking about something, like you know a tiny portion of the people in the world. So there is lots of room and lots of products can exist and coexist and all be successful at the same time, even if they are addressing the same exact industry and market and customer base, because there are so many customers. And so many people have heard of this and haven't heard of that and have been exposed to this and not exposed to that. And some people flat out don't like what's most popular and someone likes something else. So this whole idea of who's winning and who's losing on things, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing.
That's news for you. It's always trying to sensationalize things.
Yeah, that's true.
But I would like to point out if we want to use, if you use is headcount as a way to measure success, then McDonald's is the best restaurant ever created and Britney Spears is better than the Beatles. So it's not a metric I like to embrace. It does mean something, but it just really grinds my gears when someone acts like that's all that matters.
Right. Agreed.
Because you could say, then you could say Salesforce is the best, you know, application out there, and anyone that's had the misfortune of using Salesforce will disagree.
Yeah. So there's a lot of criteria. At the end of the day, it's like, what matters to you? Which company do you like giving your business to? Who treats you the best? Who has the best fit for whatever it is that you're trying to do. And that's that. Like, that's what you should be buying. You should be buying what works for you and companies that take care of you. And it doesn't matter what's the most popular or what's the hottest or whatever. It's just not really criteria that matters. So, well, hey, we're going to take another call. Thanks, Travis.
Yep. Thanks, Travis.
Later. Okay. All right. Let's let Zane in here.
Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Great, nice to see you on here. I'm a big fan of your work, and actually just hopped on, and really appreciate you letting me in.
Sure.
Just curious to know, what's the biggest challenge with Basecamp right now?
Well, we're a couple weeks away from launching the all new version of Basecamp, Basecamp 3. We've been working on it for a good year plus, and the biggest challenge is just getting out the door. We've got to get this product out. It's going to be fantastic. It's the best thing we've ever made. It's really, really good. It's just, crunch timey last couple weeks sort of thing. So there's that challenge, which is just always difficult. So there's that, and that's sort of a short-term one. A longer-term one is we're close to 50 people now at our company, and it's just become harder in general to communicate vision, direction. It used to be very simple you would just talk and everyone would hear you because there's just a few people. And then there's a certain point you get bigger and it's just harder to communicate because not everyone knows everything. And then you wonder, should everyone know everything? Does everyone need to know everything? If everyone needs to know everything, how do I explain everything all the time to everybody? It's like kind of just an interesting, different challenge when you have a larger group, and we're still relatively very small, all things considered, but it's definitely an interesting challenge we've been having lately.
On that front, Jason, do you find like you get into like philosophical differences with some of your, some of your employees, some of your leaders, in which it is difficult and you can't find a compromise? Like,
you mean like around a specific decision or a big picture communication?
Some of both. Yeah. I mean, more like decisions, more like, we shouldn't, someone wants you to go faster on a decision, you want to go slow, or you want to develop it this way or design it this way, and someone else thinks it should be another way. Is it just, I mean, we've talked about conflict before. I mean, is it just something you just embrace and get through, or do you, are there situations where you're just like, God damn it, why can't we compromise on this?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly are moments when you're like, well, the compromise, usually you're like, why can't everyone just agree with me? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's like what we're talking about here. And that's like ultimately that doesn't work long term. So you've got to be willing to fight for certain things and let go of other things, and also keep an open mind and be willing to have your own mind changed around a lot of things. So I like those moments, but they can still be frustrating at times when like you think you see something very clearly and you're thinking you're making a very clear point, and someone either can't see it or they simply just don't agree with it. And then you've got to figure out a way around that to either get them to your side or to come over to their side, or to figure out who cares more and then go with that point of view. You kind of trade back and forth decisions sometimes. It's frustrating. Anytime you have more than one person in the room, you're going to have those moments, and just learning how to deal with them is always a challenge.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And also, I just wanted to know, how do you plan on making Basecamp into more of a platform, or is that the goal eventually?
What does that mean to you?
Just being able to integrate well with other services, being able to have kind of a holistic software approach where you have, you're doing other things other than just, task management.
Yeah. Well, first of all, so Basecamp today, over 185 different products work with Basecamp or integrated with Basecamp. So we have an incredibly strong ecosystem around Basecamp. Of every product category you can imagine has hooks into Basecamp. So that already exists. But I think one of the things that's tricky, and I struggle with this myself, is to figure out like what does all this integration actually mean? So people throw around the word platform a lot. To me, platform means you can do anything with it. And I'm not so sure that that's necessarily the right direction for products, because you begin to, it's not very clear what they're for anymore. When you can do anything with them, it's like, what are they for? What are you selling? Are you just selling Legos that can be like, Legos are a great product. Legos are a platform, but what they're selling you is that you can build things with Legos.
Right.
We're trying to sell something that's more. Basecamp is sort of a bundle of tools, different kinds of tools that you can use together to get any project done with any group of people. And the tools are all very straightforward. You don't have to go out and buy 5 different tools and integrate them through all these different kinds of hooks and have 5 different interfaces and 5 different bills and 5 different user accounts. Like, you don't have to do any of that stuff. You can have like an all-in-one, simple, tight place where you can do all these things in one way. They're very straightforward and they work together and they're all understandable. Like that's kind of what we're pitching. We're not pitching like you can then hook in 17 other tools into Basecamp to do all these. Like you can do that, but it's not really our primary pitch. So that's sort of where I'm going with that. Is that it's all possible, but we're trying to if you think about what it's like, if you're technical and you want to wrap together a bunch of different tools, like you could do that. That's very DIY. I don't think most people are DIY. I think most people want to, like, they've got a problem. They need to make progress with some people on a project. They don't want to go seek out 5 different tools and hook them up and integrate them and try them all out and pay for them. Like, I don't think most people will actually want to do that. So we're trying to say we've got a one-stop shop. This is what Basecamp's always been about. And I think that's kind of the horse we're riding on.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
And, thanks. We were supposed to meet in Chicago, and at that time you were busy, but I'm so happy that you were able to get me on here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Sorry I couldn't get together.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, man. Later on.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Is that time? We got started a little late. Do you want to do another?
We'll do another. Well, if someone else wants to take another call, I'm happy to take another seat here. If someone wants to jump in. Just looking at the comments here, I wasn't following. Yeah. So yeah, Travis was just saying that, I think, by the way, I think that there are multiple approaches here, and you can integrate a bunch of stuff with Basecamp, but like that's not our pitch. Our pitch isn't that you are trying to pull together a bunch of tools. The pitch is we're trying to pull together a bunch of people, and you're trying to make progress on something together. And we're going to give you the bundle of tools that we think all told are the right ones that you need to make the progress. You can buy one thing, there's one way of working, and you can move forward with that. If you want to assemble a construction kit of a bunch of different products, like you can do that too, but that's not our pitch. So that's just a different opinion on what you're trying to sell.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it ties into just what we just got done talking about with Travis about like Joel, like it's a big pie. There's room for the people who want to be glue to a bunch of different apps,
yes.
The Zapiers and the IFTTTs, and there's tools that have integrations for a million different things. But there's a lot of people that use these products that use. I mean, I can speak from the high-rise front. There's a lot of folks that they just want the best way to do something. Like they're stressed out enough. They're starting new businesses. Yes. They don't want to research 10 tools to integrate with. They just want the best way. They just want like a happy path to like contact some customers. And I'm sure you face a bunch of customers that are the same way. Like, I just want to get a project done without a lot of friction, without having to research a lot of shit. Just give me a good way to do it.
I think that's very true. I think that in our customer base specifically, which is small businesses, small groups, they're busy. The whole problem, like they don't have enough people to begin with, and then to go have to ask for them to ask themselves if like to even buy a product is hard enough, and then the goal is, well, this one thing just does this one thing, and now I got to get all these other pieces to integrate with it. I think it's just complicated. I don't think a lot of people actually want to go in that direction. So anyway, that's sort of our angle on it. Still allowing the integrations if you want, but that's not the primary way to use Basecamp. Let's see. Any other anyone else want to jump in? We got one more. Got time for another call. If not, we can just kind of end it. That's cool. Oh, Travis is back. We'll take him. No one else jumped in. Oh, and he's back. Anyone else who has not jumped in? Anyone else? Anyone? All right, Travis came in first, so I'm going to grab him.
Hey, not trying.
Travis!
Not trying to hog it. I do want other people, but if no one's going to take it, a little off topic. But here's a question that I've been pondering about in regards to developing, not specifically with the product, but when I talk to your average 17-year-old, the most common answer I hear to what do you want to do? I hear, I want to make video games, and I say that with satire because it's the most common answer I hear. And even though me personally as a developer, I'm not scared for my career. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm a senior developer. Someone that's hiring me is not going to hire someone fresh out of college. It's two different mindsets, so they're not competition to me. But me personally, I'm actually very concerned for the market being flooded with an abnormal amount of developers that are very wet behind the ears, and even worse yet, they're not, you know, born and bred developers. Like me personally, I'm a firm believer in if you're going to do something for a career, you should probably be tinkering with it before college. If you've never written a line of code in your life until you walk into college, you're probably not going to be a great developer. I'm sorry to deliver bad news to people, but I'd like to hear if you guys have something to say about this oncoming flood of developers about to hit the market.
I do. Only so for two reasons. One, I never touched a line of code before college. In fact, I was trained in college, I studied as a chemical engineer. I was going to make nuclear bombs or something. Like I worked at a uranium processing plant. And yeah, I was actually working at a place where we were like filtering uranium and like before it goes into this like the steps before like turning it into like nuclear energy and stuff. And it's I didn't like it. And it was like that experience where I ended up getting into programming, and it was like this desire of mine. And I had enough desire to teach myself and outside of college and train myself. And it was a long road. So I don't think you know, everyone is capable of I think doing this if they have the hunger for it and want to do it. It's just, of course, like they don't have the time in college, but like it's never too late. Shit, you could. I think people at 40 years old, 50 years old can pick this stuff up. But again, it's going to take a while. Like we don't have the same fluid memory we did when we were like 18 or whatever. But I still think it's all of this is doable if you want it, you know, enough. But two, like I don't know, does it really matter? I mean, I guess it depends. If you're at a corporation that just hires whoever, you're going to be surrounded by people who like aren't the best at this, I guess. But I don't know, when you're in situations where like I get to try to make choices about who I surround myself with, like does it matter? I try to surround myself with, you know, good people who know stuff. But we found hungry people too. There's people coming out of Starter League in starter school that again they're just trying to learn programming now, and they've got this hunger about it, and like I want to tap into that. I'd like, when we get into a place where like we've got some really good momentum, I definitely want to hire some folks who haven't done a lot of programming. They don't cost as much as someone who's been developing for like 10 years. And they have a desire to try anything and everything. There's very few opinions about what they want to do. Or you know, they have very few like, oh, I only want to touch front end code. It's like, no, fuck that. Like they just want to like improve everything, and I love that attitude. So I don't know. I'm very still bullish about a bunch of people who want to do programming and are getting into it late or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's healthy for an industry when people are fired up about it, and so that's good. I think you can learn anything anytime you want if you really care about the thing. And I'd love to learn woodworking. I don't know how to do any of that. And I can imagine there's probably cabinet makers out there who are like, you'll never be good at woodworking unless your dad taught you that when you were 8. Maybe they're right. I don't know, but that shouldn't stop me from wanting to be a good wood maker and or a cabinet maker and learn how to play with wood and learn how to mess up and learn how to cut some stuff, and learn how to sand some stuff, and learn how to finish some stuff, and learn how to make joints and all those things that would be really interesting. So, you know, I think curiosity and creativity is good and should be rewarded, and people should be excited about that. So that's my take on it.
All right.
Yeah. And by the way, I agree. Motivation is everything. I mean, but you know, sometimes people are just flat out curious. Something gets them excited and they're curious, and then their interest and motivation can change over time too. Where originally it was just like for fun. They're like, wow, this could be a job. This is awesome. I could actually do this for a living. That's great. So anyway, I think the more people are interested in programming, the better off the world's going to be, because more problems can be solved by more people, and there's more perspectives and more points of view that are all in the mix. And I think that's a healthy thing.
All right.
Cool. We're good. I think
Thanks,
that's the end of the show. We've kind of gone a bit over, so.
It is. All right.
Yeah.
Good blab. We will see
blab.
people tomorrow. And
yeah, and by the way, we have a YouTube channel for those who are new to the show. If you go to we always say to subscribe to the YouTube channel, but we don't really tell you how to get there. We just assume that people know, like if they're watching it live, they're seeing it, right? But this isn't on YouTube right now.
there's the link there in the sidebar.
So if you jump over to that, that's our channel. And then from there, please subscribe to our channel. And then every time we publish a new video, you'll know about it. We know if people are interested in watching the show, and we'll do more of these, if people continue to be interested, we still enjoy doing it, but we'd love to know if you are as well. So please subscribe. That'll help let us know. And thanks again for watching.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
See ya.